Hi everyone, this is Ted Bauman, editor of the Bauman Letter from Banyan Hill Publishing. Did you know that Mickey Mouse basically is financing the future of media in the United States? Well, it's true. The Disney Company was formed in the middle of the roaring 1920s in 1923 by brothers Roy and Walt Disney. And one of their first big hit productions was a cartoon called Steamboat Willie in 1928. And from that point onward, Mickey Mouse, as he's known, became the big property, the big intellectual property that has driven much of the Disney Company's profits over the last 100 years. Now, I'll get to what Disney's going to be doing with that money in the future in just a second, but what's really interesting about the evolution of the Disney Company and the money that it's made over all these years since Walt Disney first drew Mickey Mouse is how it's been helped along by law in the United States. Now, why is somebody like Mickey so important to Disney? Well, Mickey is protected by copyright law. Copyright law says that only the Disney Company can reproduce the image of Mickey or anybody else, Goofy, Donald Duck, Minnie Mouse. All those characters are essentially Disney's intellectual property. And that means that if anybody wants to make a fluffy toy out of them, or make them into a cartoon and put them in a movie, or make a recording that sounds like Mickey's voice, anything at all having to do with any of Disney's characters, they have to get permission from Disney and pay them. Now, when Disney first invented Mickey in 1928, copyright only lasted until for 56 years. And that meant that Mickey was essentially going to be suffer copyright death, if you want to call it, in 1984. But that didn't happen. Mickey Mouse still is a key property of the Disney Company. So how did they avoid having Mickey go into the public domain where anybody could exploit his image? Well, Disney went to Congress. They talked to their friends in Congress, Mickey's friends, and they extended a copyright, Congress did, in 1976. They added another 19 years to copyright, not just for Mickey, but for all corporate property. Now that meant that Mickey would only last until 2003. So again, in 1997, Disney went to Congress. They made a bunch of targeted contributions to congressmen and senators. And again, they got copyright extended, this time until 2023. Now, the question is, what's going to happen in 2023? Is Mickey Mouse finally going to be available for use in the public domain? Well, maybe, but I think it doesn't matter anymore. The fact is that Mickey Mouse and all of his cartoon brethren and sisters at Disney have really generated billions and billions of dollars worth of income for Disney over the last 100 years. And they've used that money increasingly since 2006, when Bob Iger took over, to invest by buying other production houses, movie studios. For example, they bought Marvel Studios, which produces the incredibly popular Avenger movies. They bought Lucasfilms, which basically makes the Star Wars movies. They've bought all kinds of things. The Muppets belong to Disney. And essentially what's happened is that, using the copyright protections that Disney's early works afforded them, Disney accumulated an enormous pile of money, and they used that money to buy up as many entertainment properties as they could. In March this year, Disney bought the entertainment properties of Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox company. Murdoch kept the news stuff like Fox News, but all the movies, all the stuff that was under 21st Century Fox now belongs to Disney. I think it's important to reflect on the fact that a little cartoon mouse that emerged in 1928, back in the days of black and white hand-drawn video, really has been the cash cow that has driven the emergence of one of the biggest media conglomerates in the world. Now, I said earlier that I didn't think Mickey was necessarily going to have to see copyright extended, and that's because in the future Disney's money is going to come from things like its movie properties, its cartoon, or rather its TV properties, including cartoons. But increasingly Disney is moving in the direction of streaming video, which, as we all know, is the big thing of the future. Disney is launching a standalone Disney Channel later this year, and they recently bought out all of their partners in Hulu, which is a big streaming channel. Now remember, all of this started back in 1928 with a little cartoon mouse that allowed a company to accumulate enough money to become the world's biggest, leading, well-known media conglomerate. And now they're moving into a new era. Mickey will still be there. He'll still be the front man for the House of Mouse. But increasingly, Disney will be making its money through ways that we couldn't even conceive in the roaring 1920s. The roaring 2020s are going to be about digital properties, streaming television, and everything that goes with it. So, this is Ted Bauman reflecting on a century of Disney and the House of Mouse. Take care, and make sure to check out my own YouTube channel on Banyan Hill's Facebook pages. Thank you.